Well, we got a big room full of people tonight. That's kind of cool. How's everybody doing? You know, I've heard worse at a Padre game, but it's been a while. All right, so we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order on June 25th. It's just 6:30. Let the record reflect that all council members except Ron Hall is here tonight. And tonight the invocation will be given by Gary Phillips. And that's the brother of one of our regular pastors, Jerry Phillips. And I understand that you guys are twins? Every day? How come you're so much better looking than he is? And, you know, I'm a twin also, so I know how that is. And, you know, we try, but he just can't measure up. So I get it. So from one twin to another. All right, so Gary Phillips is a lifelong San Diegan and a proud resident of La Mesa. And we do have room here if you want to move to Santee. Just keep that in mind. He's a graduate of San Diego State University. Gary began his professional journey in the hospitality industry, where he honed his skills in guest services and event coordination. His commitment to excellence in creating memorable experiences eventually inspired him to launch Visionary Golf Events and Visionary Event Services. Through these ventures, Gary plans and manages corporate and nonprofit golf tournaments, as well as customized fundraising events, serving clients nationwide. Gary's commitment to service extends far beyond his business. From 2008 to 2013, he led a grassroots initiative to support individuals experiencing homelessness in San Diego. With the help of family and friends, he prepared and delivered more than 13,000 meals throughout the city and East County. Deep-rooted dedication to community service continues to inform both his professional endeavors and his personal values. We thank you for being here this evening, and we want you to please pray for the United States of America, the state of California, the city of Santee, and of course, this city council. So what we're going to do is we're going to rise first and have the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led tonight by our very own Fire Marshal, Aaron Merck.
I want to thank you again for allowing me to be here on behalf of my brother, the good-looking Pastor Jerry Phillips. Father, we just come to you tonight, and Lord, it says in Psalms 139, it says that our days have been ordered by you, ordained. Father, this city council that I stand before, they were ordained to be here tonight, and we're asking you that you flood your wisdom into this chamber over each and every one of them. That, Father, every decision they make brings prosperity to Santee, not only from the east, south, but from the north and west. We pray for our state in California. Lord, we ask that every city council would begin with a heart towards you. And Father, we pray for this great nation. What an honor it is to live in this nation. And Father, may we never forget how amazing and the rights that we have to stand here in this community and to say thank you. And we give you all the praise and glory. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
If we could all turn to face the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Okay. What are we going to do next, guys? Anything important? Call it a night? Yeah, that is pretty important. Motion to approve. Okay, that's a good one. I like that. Okay, I think we're going to do a proclamation for Park and Recs Month. And let me see if I can get this thing working here. Test, 1, 2. Test. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Anybody you know? Anybody from the Park and Rec Committee? Oh, way too many here. Can't all come up. You sound like the leader tonight. All right, what was I thinking? Pretend like you like each other.
I'll turn on my mic, Mr. Mayor. Only one in the room that likes to talk more than you.
Come on up here. Don't stand in front of me. They may not be able to see me.
Look sassy, no.
I give you the Hawaiian punch, right? Okay, this is a proclamation, and it says, Santee, California. And whereas each July we celebrate Park and Recreation Month, and this year marks the 40th anniversary of Parks and Recreation Month. Recreation, parks, and programs are an essential part of communities throughout this county, including the city of Santee. And whereas this year's focus is build together, play together, reminding us that together we are building and maintaining sustainable parks and green spaces that are accessible and inclusive for current and future generations. And whereas together Parks and Recreation build thriving, strong, vibrant, and resilient communities focused on health and mental well-being, and increase a community's economic prosperity. And whereas together Parks and Recreation professionals improve the lives of people, making a lasting impact in communities across the country, as well as for the citizens of the city of Santee. And whereas together Parks and Recreation help people play and connect through programs, community events, and facilities that help cultivate lifelong friendships, memories, and family bonds. Hey, we got some good friends up here, let me tell you. We've been around a long time having fun.
40 years.
40 years. Who asked you?
You read it. I just repeating what you said.
Okay, we got some more whereases here. Okay, whereas together Parks and Recreation encourage physical activities by providing space for sports, hiking, swimming, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas combined fundraising and donations received in fiscal year 2025 totaled approximately $66,000 and have been spent on improving facilities, sports courts, and fields, recreation programs, events, and the Veterans Memorial banners. And whereas together the Santee Park and Recreation Committee, SPARC, this is who they are. Well, everybody know who they are. You act in an advisory capacity to the City Council in matters about park and recreations in the city of Santee. Now, therefore, I, John W. Minto, the mayor of the city of Santee, on behalf of this entire city council behind me, with the exception of Ron Hull, do hereby proclaim July 2025 as Park and Recreation Month. Build together, play together in the city of Santee, and encourage all Santee residents to recognize the importance of access to local parks, recreation programs, special events, trails, open space, and facilities.
That was a mouth.
So, okay, let's do a couple pictures here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to let Dean say a few words because he just happens to be the chair of that committee.
Happened to be.
Nick, go ahead. Dean, talk.
Haven't you been paying attention? You can't make Linda do anything she doesn't want to. See how easy that was, Linda?
Yeah, Linda.
It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Are you going to give me juice?
Okay,
finally?
Dino.
Oh, I'm just not as loud as the mayor. I guess I have to speak up. Anyways, I just want to say thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council and staff, for this wonderful proclamation for parks. And we have a good time. If you can't see that, our committee is a bunch of fine folks, and the staff who support every one of our meetings, and more importantly, every one of the events at every one of our parks. It's just it's a fun time, and if you haven't been to any of our special events in Santee, please visit them. You can start by tomorrow night, concert nights, Santee Summer Concerts. We're going to have the country rock out tomorrow night. But anyways, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, everyone, for this recognition, and we love Parks and Rec, and can't wait to continue to make them awesome.
We just had one question. Nick, maybe you can answer this. Where does this go now? On your wall or somebody else's? Then I'm gonna.
Bobby, I think it should go to my house for a week. We should like to go traveling.
I'm not going to have you fight over it. We're going to give it to Nick and let him decide. That sounds good? All right. I think we're good to go now.
Yes.
Let's get ready for the next one.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. Golly.
I'm gonna watch them.
Yeah. Darlene, you guys want to come up here? Yes. Where you at? Now, if you're doing that, how am I going to read this without crying? So I brought all the council down here because this is a certificate for Anita. If you haven't figured out who Anita is yet, it's the one here that's also kind of in yellow.
The godmother of Santee.
I wore yellow on your behalf tonight. And she's been around for a long time, done a lot of things. So let me just read this off, and you kind of get the gist of it. It says, City of Santee, Certificate of Recognition. This certificate is proudly presented in recognition of Anita Bautista. With sincere appreciation for your dedication, volunteer service to the City of Santee Park and Recreation Committee. Your generous gift of time, advocacy, and steadfast commitment has significantly contributed to enhancing the quality of life for all who live, work, and play in Santee. Your efforts have made a lasting and positive impact on the Santee Parks and Recreation Department and the community. And this is penned by my name, John W. Minto, but it is on behalf of the entire council. And for all those people that know you in Santee, it's for them also. And those who don't know you, they also want to say thank you, I'm sure.
Thank you.
So here you go. Dustin, you want to?
Thank you, everybody. I'm still alive, but I'm here.
104 years old.
All right, Anita, it's not a joke. It's really not a joke. It's the truth. Anita truly is the godmother of Santee. I've been saying it for 25 years now. There's not an event that this young lady isn't at or hasn't been at. I think she's cooked more hot dogs than Oscar Mayer. But she's done it for the city of Santee, and she does it with purpose. And if she's not cooking, she's beating somebody else up because they're not cooking either.
That's usually Andy.
Usually Andy, yes. Her partner in crime, Andy. They have been just two of the most staunch supporters, not only of myself, but the city of Santee as a whole. I've got nothing but admiration and praise for everything that they've ever done, and just what an incredible family that they've raised in a way that they have grown up to be proud of their community as well. That's not normal. That's not every day that you get that in a family. And we're their second home. She's from the Philippines and still retains a house out there, and yet Santee is where she calls home and dedicated her life to. So we love you so very, very much, and thank you for being a part of our community and leading us into prosperity as you always have.
Come on, darling, you want to say something? To echo the Vice Mayor's comments, obviously, Anita and Andy come here, and, Darlene and John and Kanoa and Chemo. This is a great, great family here, and, 50 plus years in the city of Santee, right?
86.
No, that's how old you are, but how many years you been here? 50 plus years, right? Yeah, 55 years, you guys. And kind of like the Vice Mayor was saying, it's what we do here on the council. We think, what is best for the city of Santee, and this embodies a resident that has always put the city of Santee first, along with their family, and all the things she's done. So thank you for everything you've done for our city.
Yes.
Hi, darling. So Anita, when I was elected ace, I saw smiling up at me was Anita, and she gave me a lei and gave me a big hug, gave me a kiss, and from that moment on, a friendship was developed. She I don't think there's anybody who doesn't know Anita in Santee. Everybody does.
Only gave us punches.
Well, fitting. The ladies got to stick together sometimes. But I just want to say, Anita, you mean so much to Santee. You both, your whole family, but you're the smiling face. The patriarch. Well, yeah. I'm not going to copy what you say anymore. Okay. I'm hearing buzz, buzz, buzz in my ear. Anyway, we love you, and we're just so happy to honor you today. And from the bottom of my heart, and everybody in the community of Santee, thank you for everything you've done.
Well, what can we all say? You do so much for the city, Mom. You do so much for everybody. I think everybody in this room knows that. And that's why the turnout is what it is today. And your reach goes very far here in Santee and in San Diego. So we love you, and congratulations.
One quick little story here. Okay, guys, if you don't know, if you haven't been to one of Anita's birthday parties, it's the scariest thing you'll ever go to in your life. Because when you pull up, you'll see every fire truck, every CHP car, every San Diego Sheriff's Department vehicle. You'll see it all, and they're all parked around the house. You think a bomb went off, and oh my goodness, what the heck just happened? No, it's just Anita's birthday, and everybody shows up because she truly is the godmother of Santee. And that's the respect that she's garnered from not only us in the community, but those that serve the community as well. So I want to say that out loud because it's such a neat thing to show up and see.
That is a good one. All right, thank you very much. We got to go to work now. Good to see Andy. Good job. Hey, Jay, see ya.
Yeah, boy. I know it's been a minute.
Next time, let's bring somebody up we know. What do you say we do some business now? All right, let's go to the calendar, consent calendar. Any items to be added, deleted, or reordered?
None for me.
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, Vice Mayor,
None for me, Mr. Mayor.
City Manager, City Attorney.
Yes, sir.
All right, would you have any speaker slips?
No, sir.
Motion
Thank
to
you.
approve consent calendar.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion carries unanimously with council present.
All right, that takes us to non-agenda public comment. Any speaker slips?
We do have 3 speakers, Mayor.
Thank you. Please call them.
The first speaker is Brenda Hammond.
Welcome, Brenda.
Hi. Okay, first, I'm not going to crack. You have to read about it in my book. So, I'm not going to rehash what I said at the other city council meetings this week. You can go back and watch them. It's important. But I have a few points I'd like to grab from it. Anger is not a mental illness. Anger is a normal human reaction to purposeful harassment, especially when the harassment is purposely done to check for reaction for anger management classes. Elder abuse in domestic terrorism. I'm working on it. I'll just drop the F-bomb, but some people are going to get hurt if they mess with the wrong person. Okay, this is what I need to add because I ran out of time at the other places and they'd get paranoid anyway. After 9/11, I spent 3 years ditching 3 deputies before they finally got fired because they were involved with 9/11. I know you guys don't want to hear that, but too bad. I did not get them fired. They got themselves fired, me and Turco. I hear one of them tried to have his past employee records sealed. How do you guys feel about that? Well, that's a teaser for my book. You'll have to read the rest. Okay, here's the fun. So can you keep a secret? Last Thursday, I got bored at another concert. So I came to your guys' concert, and it was great. I just had a great time. It was awesome. This Thursday, we start our concerts in Lemon Grove, and we're going to have karaoke. That's going to be different. Yeah, I know. That's different. So I can't sing, but I can dance. Thank you.
Thanks.
The next speaker is Carl Constantino.
Hey, Carl.
Real quick, there's been references in several meetings of regards to the renovation of Shadow Hill Park, and that the renovation's scheduled to start sometime in the next, in months from now. But my question is, are there going to be plans provided that the public can see and maybe provide feedback on?
Don't we have plans in the planning department or someplace that people come look at those?
Mayor, I could address that if you like.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't find them.
We had a survey that went out a few months ago, and we used that survey as a catalyst to develop the playground. So we got good feedback from that.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah,
That didn't answer my question.
that was our mechanism for the feedback process. It was well received, and we received all the information that we needed.
Yeah, but is there a plan anywhere, a document, sketch, whatever?
Yes, the sketches could be provided. The sketches were provided also. We were going to have a presentation, but it was on the consent calendar, and it was approved at the last meeting. So there would have been sketches presented, but the consent calendar was approved, and the presentation was not delivered.
Okay. I mean, I know what I have an idea of what you're doing, and I know there's a lot of shade. I know you're going to tear out all the playground equipment because you think it's old. I'm just wondering, I'm at that park every day.
Can you just
we
give them the plans?
Tell them where we can get the get the plans to
Absolutely,
them, or
yeah. We could
how to get
absolutely,
them to
we could
them.
absolutely provide the plans.
So
There we go.
Connect it
Solved.
somehow.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's all I'm asking for.
The next speaker is John Hosick.
Welcome, John.
Hi. How are you guys? Good evening. My name is John Hosick. I'm with the Santee Mobile Home Owners Action Committee, or SMOAC. I'm just here to announce that July we are kicking off Buddy's Backpacks for the 11th year. Because of your support and because of the City Council and because of a ton of people in the community, we have already given out over 13,000 backpacks filled with school supplies. What you're going to see, hopefully, is over 20 donation sites pop up at the beginning of July. We're going to continue to August 5th. I'll have 2 weekends in a row. I'll be at Barnes & Noble in person. You can drop off your donations there as well. I can tell you that I've never had a program impact me as much as this one. And that says a lot, considering some of the things that I know that I've seen and I've done. So all I want to do is say thank you, and I appreciate your support and your effort, and thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thanks for carrying that on.
No further speakers.
Thank you. That takes us to item number 7. It's a public hearing, continued public hearing for tentative map TM 2023-0003 and development review permit DR 2023-0007 for a multi-family residential development at 10939 Summit Avenue.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice
Good
Mayor.
evening.
Council members. My name is Maddie Matson. I'm the Principal Planner with the Planning and Building Department. Staff noticed the public hearing for tentative map TM 2023-0003 and development review permit DR 2023-0007 for the June 25th City Council meeting. However, the applicant has since requested that the item be continued to the July 9th City Council meeting. As such, city staff is requesting that council open the public hearing this evening, announce the continuance of the item to July 9th, and then formally close the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have two speakers, Mayor.
Okay, let's go ahead and hear the speakers.
Mikhail Livak.
Yes, hello folks. My name is Michael Levak and I'm one of the 6 homeowners at Noble Way who will be directly impacted by the Warmington Home project directly behind our north fence line. I'm simply going to list my concerns and basing them mainly on language in Santee's general plan and zoning guidelines, additionally CAL FIRE maps, and the study commissioned by the city in 2023, titled Emergency Evacuation Route Analysis by Harris and Associates. This study shows the Summit Avenue as the highest vulnerability in a wildfire situation to being able to escape. The State Fire Marshal map from March 24, 2025 shows Summit Ave in the very high fire severity zone. The recklessness of adding additional buildings and people to this volatile fire hazard area is obviously to any reasonable person. There is only one way in and out, that being Summit Avenue. The nice map shows Magnolia curving into Summit. Well, that's just a pipe dream. We can't believe it will ever happen. Don't risk people's lives in the name of corporate and land developers' greed. If the fire 617, the El Monte fire, had been pushed west by 16 miles per hour Santa Ana winds, well, we would be suffering from that fire. Altadena and Pacific Palisades are deadly recent reminders of wind-driven wildfires damage. Let's not forget how this construction will affect the wildlife, where this land is a habitat for coyotes, rabbits, mice, squirrels, chipmunks, snakes, and others, and all of the above take huge role in the food and habitat environment that we should care for a lot, especially these days. I hope Santee Parks and Recreation Committee can agree and support my words. My next comment addresses the craziness of adding 42 condos on Summit with no infrastructure to support it. The water line up Summit is at its limit. How come we can add 42 water taps to our limited water situation? There is no gas line up Summit, so basically they have to put at least 20-25 propane tanks, bombs instead. The electric circuit up Summit is at its maximum current capacity. The overreaching problem is the zoning, changed from R1A to R7. This should have been vigorously challenged on every front. It would not pass the reasonableness test in any court of law. If one were to simply apply the definitions in Santee's own zoning laws to Summit Avenue, it fails all of them. If one were to apply to guidelines in Santee's own general plan to Summit Ave, it falls squarely in the R1A zone, not R7. Now, to the narrower impact to me and my fellow neighbors on Noble Way. I certainly wouldn't have paid the premium price for my house had I known that 42 condos were being built just over my back.
The next speaker is Megan Leary.
Thank you. Hi there, welcome.
Neighbors with Michael, and I'd like to echo these. Oh, sorry. Oh, I got to scoot over. Yep. And I got a crying baby over there, too. Is this better? Yes. Okay, perfect. So Michael is my neighbor, and I'd like to echo these concerns. My name is Megan Leary, my husband, and my 10-month-old baby out there, and I live all on Noble Way, the street in front of the potential Worthington development of 42 townhouses in a 4.6-acre lot off the private street that is Summit Avenue. As a homeowner and Santee resident, I am very concerned about these potential development. Santee Avenue is a very small community neighborhood does not have the infrastructure for this size of development. Summit Avenue is a unpaved private street with very few buildings and homes back there right now. We have no sidewalks, no street lamps. The electric lines and sewer lines are not set up for the volume. And some of these houses are still on septic tanks back there. The gas lines, there's no gas lines up Summit, and the neighborhood cannot support this size of development. But my biggest concern is related to the fire hazard and egress of 42 townhomes, with an additional 42 to 170 people and cars evacuating on a one-lane road that is Summit Avenue. Based on Santee and the state marshal map that we live in a high-severity fire zone, I would urge City Council to seriously consider this, especially after the recent LA fires and San Diego's own fires of the past years. Please do not let corporate greed get in the way of citizen safety. It would be grossly negligent to not have infrastructure of Summit Avenue and the consideration of the high fire hazard and evacuation remedies prior to the approval of this development. Thank you.
Thank you.
No further speakers.
All right, do you guys want to send this to the next meeting, July 9th? Okay. Let's do that then. You need a
We
motion?
want you to
need-
take
yeah.
an action to do
Okay.
that, just because then we don't have to renotice it. That's the purpose of this.
Move staff recommendation.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, I have a second, motion and second. Please vote. So this will be moved again to the July 9th meeting. So if you guys want to come back and hear what's going on. All right, let's go to,
That carries unanimously.
oh, thank you, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
That takes us to the next item, which is commercial cannabis permit retail applications. Direction on the phase 4 interviews.
Well,
Go ahead,
good evening. Yep. Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. My name is Rachel Lindebrecke, Associate Planner with the Planning and Building Department. And tonight's item is in preparation of the Phase 4 City Council interviews and final decision for the commercial cannabis business, or CCB, permit retail applications. Staff is looking for direction on the selection process, including the interview questions. So we did present this information during Cannabis 101, but as a quick overview, the city adopted a cannabis business permit ordinance in August of 2022-24, and in October of 2024, staff began the process of reviewing 16 received retail applications through the adopted 4-phase process. Phase 1 through 3 have been completed, and all 16 applications have been determined qualified for advancement to Phase 4. As specified in the retail application procedures, the City Council has full discretion over which applicants, if any, will be awarded a CCB permit consistent with the purpose and intent of the city's cannabis business permit ordinance. In making the decision, the City Council is not limited to the specific evaluation criteria identified within the procedures. During Phase 4, City Council will interview all 16 applicants and decide which, if any, may be awarded a permit. The Phase 4 interviews will be held on Tuesday, July 8th and Thursday, July 10th, with the City Council deliberations and selection process being held on Friday, July 11th. On July 11th, the deliberations and selection process will occur in the morning with a break around noon, and then in the afternoon, council will review the resolution confirming City Council selections. With the support from the ad hoc committee, staff has drafted 7 interview questions, as you see on the screen, for your consideration. These can be modified, removed, or new questions may be added as the council sees fit. Some things to keep in mind: each interview will be scheduled for 45 minutes. Up to 5 minutes will be reserved for applicant introductions, with the remaining time being reserved for the answering of the questions. The questions have been drafted to allow applicants to showcase what sets them apart from other applicants. And after tonight, the interview questions will be set and no further modifications will be permitted. These questions will be asked to each applicant by the city clerk during the Phase 4 interview process. After all 16 applicant interviews have been heard, the City Council will make a determination which, if any applicants, will be awarded a permit. Under the city's current ordinance, up to 4 permits may be awarded. It is recommended that up to 4 additional applicants be selected as alternates. The first alternate would be selected, and then up to 3 additional alternates would be chosen as well. The alternate list would be valid for up to 2 years. To begin narrowing down the list, each council member would select their top 8 applicants. Any applicant that is not selected by a council member would not move forward. Council members can then discuss and ask clarifying questions of applicants in order to reduce their lists down to a top 6 and then finally a top 4. If there is an inability to achieve consensus on the top 4, the council would reserve the right to use some sort of ranking process. Staff will utilize a spreadsheet as shown on this slide, similar to the one used during the Community Development Block Grant Fund allocation process in order to assist the council in seeing similarities and overall narrowing down the list. And this does conclude staff's presentation, and staff is available to answer any questions. Thank you.
We do have one speaker slip.
Devin Wardlow.
Welcome.
Thank you all. My name is Devin Wardlow, Vice President of Public Affairs for Embark, and I really just wanted to say thank you so very much to this council and for all of city staff's work to develop such a thoughtful approach to implementing retail cannabis. We operate 16 cannabis stores throughout the state of California, all run through merit-based processes similar to this, and I just really want to commend you all for the hard work. I know this is not an easy process, so thank you all for your efforts, and I look forward to applying and continuing to go through this process. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Questions by the committee? Council?
Yes, Councilmember Cavallo and I have gone through this a number of times, and in fact, we've talked about one thing specifically a number of times, and I'm embarrassed by the fact that I didn't bring it up when we were going through these questions specifically, and I'd like to add another question and maybe swap out number 6 for something a little different. The concern that I have is just hearing throughout industry-wide that a lot of proprietors are delinquent or in default on paying vendors and are having issues with paying vendors. So I'd like something along the lines of, are you currently in default or have you ever been in default with your vendors? Something of that nature. I don't know how to exactly word it, but I want that message across because it's something, if they're not paying their vendors, what's the next thing that happens? Then they end up defaulting on other things, and we don't want to go through this whole process. I mean, this has been 3 years to get here just to find out that somebody's going to end up not being able to make it even a year down the line because they're not paying their vendors and something gets shut down, or they get sued and it makes it look bad on the city of Santee for allowing this to happen. So I just want something of that nature in there, if that's plausible.
Yes, I mean, this is the time to make those changes. So,
I mean, I know we have limited time, and we want to get through these questions. So, if there was one to take out for me, it would be number 6.
I agree. I agree with that. Proving, I mean, we're going to hear, oh yeah, I've paid all my vendors, so we need to have something more substantial.
If we find out that they aren't, and they say that they have, well, then they've just lied to us, and you're gone immediately right then and there.
Isn't that actually question number 4?
And because I do think that's what it's, I mean, basically it's, if your business is sustainable, you're paying your vendors, right? And so I think, but I think calling out specifically.
You can
I
rewrite it in a manner to do so.
I think it's just an extra sentence, a small sentence actually added there.
You're right. It could be that way, and it is a yes or a no. And if they're lying to us, then we got it on.
Yes.
We want to see how you build trust in a community. So that's a good compromise.
Yeah. So and that could be just as easy. Have you ever defaulted on any of your payments or invoices or something like
Are you
that?
currently in
does
default,
that-
or have you ever defaulted?
I'm sorry, does that give you, can we just craft something real quick so that it's clear what we're going to
Sure. We actually have a Word document that we can show on the screen, and we can provide the language exactly. Do you want to bring that up? Yeah, perfect.
Yes. 1 second.
And I wrote down what you said, Vice Mayor, so I don't know if we want to start there. I do think because it's a yes, no, that potentially we can just ask it without having to remove another question. When we're talking about a 45-minute period of time, as Rachel mentioned, we'll have a brief, short intro, discussion presentation at the beginning. It can be up to 5 minutes. It could be less than 5 minutes, but we have a total of 45 minutes. So yes, no questions don't take much time, right? Everybody will have the questions in advance, so they'll be prepared to respond to them. So I wrote, are you currently in default, or have you been in default with your vendors? I think that's what I heard you say, Vice Mayor. But I don't know if you would like to modify, Sean, or if you think that, it feels like that's pretty direct.
Yeah. I think that was the Vice Mayor's question, so I think that that's appropriate language to use. I do think, but I think that's why that putting in context with question 4 makes sense, because there might be a business that says, yes, when I first started, I did this.
And that's
but
if there's a reason
right.
behind it, but if it's something that it's a business practice,
Yep.
to potentially just put a vendor out of business so that they don't ever have to pay it, I want to know about that. It's not a good business practice, and it's not the kind of business we want in the city of Santee.
Does that work for you?
Yeah, these are the first that I've ever seen these questions, so I was trying to read them as we're going through it too. So, other than the report we got last Friday, but so I'm trying to take it all in as we're going through.
Do you want to go through each one just so that?
Yeah, we can.
read it. I read them all. So when we first went to the first slide, we went a little too fast. But now that we came back, I've got a chance to read them all.
Okay.
So.
Thank you. You want that?
I think that works because obviously it may not just be a vendor.
I think you do need. Yeah, I do think you need to have a reference of who you're talking about, because
Well, but it
I've
may
been in
not be
default, I
just a
guess,
vendor.
at some
though.
point,
Could
in
be
my
they
life.
didn't pay their electric bill. Maybe
Yeah,
they didn't
that's what I
pay
mean,
their water
yeah.
bill. Or,
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, why we prepped it, just in case.
I'm good with this, you guys.
There's also one other place. I guess there's something called Delta 8 synthetics, which I believe we are not permitting anything of this nature, because it's a derivative of actual narcotic.
Yeah, I think I'd probably stay away from that.
Do we have anything?
That might violate a
There's
Fifth
only
Amendment
certain,
right.
there's the ordinance and state law only allow certain things. If something's outside that, it's not allowed. So I don't think we need to ask them, are you going to comply with the law?
Yeah. They do have a Fifth Amendment right here.
Yeah, I do think
They can impose it.
But I think that might be, again, I think you'll hear a lot about the industry when you do the interviews. I think there can be follow-up questions that might get to that point. But in terms of the basic questions to start with, I think I'd recommend leaving that out.
Okay. He's our attorney.
But thanks for thinking about it.
And I want to say that Councilmember Koval has done an excellent job being there and going through this all piece by piece. You doing your research as well. It's very much appreciated. All the work that you put in this with the rest of the staff. It's been a long, arduous process for the last 3 years, but here we are, and let's make sure we get it to the end in the best possible way we can for the city, for our citizens.
Thank you. Congratulations to you as well. We're almost there.
Okay, anything from you there, Dustin? Okay. I don't have anything. I think this all worked out. Like the slides there, tells us a little bit how we get to the answer of everything. And I think we ought to just get going here so that we can get done. So
I think if you wouldn't mind, if you could put it in the form of a motion that you would be approving these 7 questions as modified.
Motion
plus-
to approve the 7 questions
and the
as
sele-
modified.
And the selection process.
Yes.
And the selection process.
Thank you.
is there a second?
Rob, it's got to be you.
Second.
All right, then. All right, let's vote on it. Yeah, like pulling teeth sometimes.
Well, your second man's not here tonight.
Yeah, well,
Vice Mayor,
I never thought I'd be like a dentist.
can you lock it in?
All right.
Vice Mayor, can you
Thanks,
lock in your
everybody.
vote?
Thanks, everyone, for coming out.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, that takes us to item number 9, which is an ordinance to adopt the Santee Fire Hazard Severity Zone Map as recommended by CAL FIRE for compliance with Government Code Section 51179 and find that the action is not a project and therefore not subject to the current Environmental Quality Act. Easy for you guys to say. Aaron, it's on you.
Ready. There we go. We got it up on the screen. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. My name is Aaron Mergs, City of Santee Fire Marshal, and I'm here coming back from our April 9th meeting to finally present formally the new Fire Hazard Severity Zone Map for the City of Santee. We are presenting an ordinance and resolution to adopt the Santee Fire Hazard Severity Zone Map as recommended by CAL FIRE for compliance with Government Code Section 51179 and find that the action is not project and therefore not subject to the California Environmental Quality Act. Just a brief introduction to recall all your memories here. CAL FIRE published a new fire hazard severity zone map for the City of Santee back on March 24th, 2025. This new map introduced 2 new zones, the moderate and the high fire hazard severity zones. This is the first update since 2009. The updated map is based, there we go. Thank you, James. Perfect. Sorry about that. This is the first update since 2009. The updated map is based on improved modeling, climate data, and fire history. Overall, we increased in some of the fire hazard severity zones back in 2011 when the map was formally adopted. We had just under 5,000 acres in the very high fire hazard severity zone. Now in 2025, we have over 6,000 acres in the very high, over 1,000 in the high, and just about 600 in the moderate. Here's a little comparison with the map back in 2011 on the left and 2025 on the right. You can see there was the addition of Rattlesnake Mountain or Sky Ranch area to the southeast, to the southwest as well, and in the middle, kind of in the river corridor there. Just a quick overview of some of the requirements. In the moderate, there's no requirements there if you were to build a new home or to sell your property. We just have to designate that as the moderate area. In the high, if you were going to build a new building or a new accessory building, you would have to comply with California Building Code Chapter 7A. If you were to sell a property, part of the real estate disclosure is disclosing whether your home is equipped with all the hardening features from that chapter, and also whether your defensible space meets vegetation requirements. And then in the very high, there's more requirements there. These are 2011. There's additional defensible space requirements. The Subdivision Map Act and the Subdivision Review are both applicable, and there's additional CEQA disclosures. So required actions of the city, why are we here tonight? We must make the fire hazard severity zone map available for public review and comment by April 23. We did that by meeting on April 9th. On April 14th, the fire department and the marketing division launched a web page with the map on there. CAL FIRE has also made all the maps available themselves. We must adopt the fire hazard severity zone map by ordinance by July 22nd. That's 120 days from when it was published. That's our deadline by state law. We must also transmit a copy of the ordinance to the Board of Forestry, County Recorder, County Assessor, and County Planning Department within 30 days of adoption. We may increase the fire hazard severity zones, but we may not decrease them. And I'll follow up on some previous discussion items back in the on the April 9th, 2025 council meeting. 3 discussion items were raised here. We asked, does the city of Santee want to expand any of the 3 zones? How does the city of Santee want to address requirements for parcels that span multiple zones? And how does the city of Santee want to address the public comment requirement? So briefly following up on discussion item number 1, concerning increasing the fire hazard severity zones, the Santee Fire Department is not recommending an increase to the areas already identified by CAL FIRE. Number 2, concerning the multi-zone parcels, CAL FIRE recently clarified that the most stringent zone identified and its associated requirements applies to the whole of the parcel. During the April 9th committee, we were transparent that all the fire marshals, all the fire chiefs were figuring out how to read this language, working with legal as well, and things have developed since then. So we appreciate your patience there. And then item number 3, concerning the public comment, the fire department marketing division, like I said, created a webpage. We allowed for public online submittal of comments back on April 14th. We have received none via that way there. There was no public comment on April 9th. We'll see if we have some tonight. And so our recommendations are 1, for the city council to open and close the first reading of the resolution and ordinance to adopt the Santee Fire Hazard Severity Zone map as provided by CAL FIRE to comply with the 120-day adoption window, and to hear any public comment and schedule for the second reading at the July 9th, 2025 City Council meeting to meet the deadline for adoption. And that's the end of my presentation, and I'm here to answer any questions, and staff is here too.
Thanks, Aaron. We do not have any speaker slips. Council comments or questions?
Can we ask a question?
No.
It's it's a double-edged sword here. It's really difficult. I mean, it's difficult for people to maintain their homeowners insurance, especially in Southern California. And then you add extra overlays onto this were severe high, and as he stated, even though it's just a corner of a parcel, now that whole parcel is a part of it. Even though it's just somebody in Sacramento somewhere. CAL FIRE just looking at a map that's not here, isn't actually going to these areas and seeing how they're affecting lives of Californians. I mean, this is something. It's something we have to do. We have to do it. There's no real arguing of it because we're not in compliance. It's just, man, making it more and more difficult for people to buy and heck even retain their homes. People are having to sell their homes because they just can't afford the insurance on it any longer, and it's really a horrible thing. The hardening is being done, but once again, if you've got somebody that's been in their home for 50 years and they finally got it paid off and it's a retirement, they don't have a lot of savings, living on Social Security, how are they going to come up with all the fees to go back and harden it just so that they can get insurance on it when nothing's ever happened in 50 years? It's an absolute shame and a little bit of a disgrace that our insurance commissioner is allowing this stuff in California, but it is what it is. So move staff recommendation.
Well, not to mention the fear that it causes.
Oh,
yeah. I actually appreciate that. I do have a question. I just thought about it. Probably could have thought about I wish I thought about it before. I could have had an answer. I'm probably not asking now. But do you have any idea, other than what the vice mayor said about somebody looking at a map, how do they determine what's a high fire, moderate fire, and et cetera? Because sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Do you have any idea?
What is nice is they put out a whole packet for how they go over the modeling on the CAL FIRE website. They have 3 different videos that you can dive into exactly how they did the modeling, but basically it's all based on ember casting. So, yeah, modeling.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. So please prepare to vote. And then what I'm going to suggest is, Michael, might want to, Aaron, I'm sure, would be happy to talk to you about the issue of high fire areas and stuff like that. Would you reach out, Aaron?
Can do.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Aaron, good job. And I'm glad those guys up there finally made a decision on that one issue. Wrong decision, but they have a right to their opinion even if it is wrong.
Your driveway isn't a fire. Yeah. Your house is. Yeah.
Okay. Are you finished there, Aaron?
Sir.
Because we're done up here. So you know what, let's, you guys need a break before we do the next thing, or? Okay. Yeah, because this probably takes us about at least 2 or 3 hours, right? Item number 10, I'm just trying to scare everybody. Item number 10, which is continued review of the proposed operating budget for fiscal year 2025-26, and resolution adopting the operating budget for fiscal year 25-26 and taking related actions. Heather.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, and City Council members. This is our discuss the fiscal year 25-26 operating budget. Tonight, we have the opportunity for a continued discussion about the budget and then, of course, the adoption of the budget. In addition, the MOU is presented for adoption as well. Staff has updated the proposed budget based on direction received from the City Council at the June 11th City Council Budget Workshop. The updates from the June 11th council meeting include the code compliance assistant. We reinstated 2 part-time code compliance assistants and it's hard to say, and removed a proposed full-time code compliance assistant. So this would bring the staffing back to where it currently is in this fiscal year. We also removed the full-time administrative secretary from the city clerk department and removed the full-time marketing specialist position from economic development and marketing division. We reduced the budget in promotional activities within the economic development and marketing division. It was originally budgeted at $40,000. It's now $0. And in the community services department, we reduced budgets for carnival rides, graphic artists, and certain banner costs. Total savings of $75,560. In addition, we added $25,220 to the human resources department for part-time staffing assistance during the financial system ERP implementation, and added $5,000 that was previously in economic development and marketing to the City Council's Hometown Heroes program budget. This was money that was set aside for as-needed funding for banner installation or costs that weren't accounted for, or just in case we needed extra funding. And then lastly, we reduced the projected revenue for carnival rides tickets since we took out the carnival rides, and that was about $10,000. So once again, we have a balanced budget. The anticipated reserve balance is $14.5 million. The operating reserve, 22.7%. The supplemental reserves in excess of the City Council's reserve policy, $484,421. So also, as I mentioned, also included tonight is the Santee Firefighters Association MOU adoption. So the city and the SFFA negotiated a successor MOU. Some of the key terms of the MOU are it's a 2-year term. It begins July 1st, 2025 and goes through June 30, 2027. There are COLA increases in years 1 and 2. In both years, they're 3%, and they're effective the first full pay period in July. The MOU also includes market adjustments. In year 1, it's 2.5, which is effective July 3rd, 2025, and then 1.5 effective January 14th, 2027. Also included is an increase to uniform allowance. The uniform allowance now will be $1,000 a year, increased from $650 per year. So the recommendation tonight is to adopt the resolution adopting the operating budget for fiscal year 25-26 and taking any related actions, including all changes as directed by the City Council, and to approve the Santee Firefighters Association's MOU.
Thank you. We do not have any speaker slips on this.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Comments or questions?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone for all your work on the budget. Sometimes, I mean, I know it's painful when we're being fiscally responsible as a council. Some other cities aren't right now, and but we also look ahead and what could be, as you let us know, what could be coming, and we hear you, and that's why we make some tough decisions from time to time. And you might not realize it, but if we sit on another committee or board, we're also going through the budget process with them. And so then you, like MTS, I'm sitting in for Sandag, Air Pollution Control Board, Heartland Communications, everyone, it's budget season. So talking to other council members that are going through this process, we have a great team, a great council, and we're not in the news, so that's good. So congratulations to everybody.
My favorite part is that we probably will save another $12,000 a year not killing trees by putting paper on the dais.
Mm-hmm.
Just had to say, guys.
And I'll just echo, thank you for the staff, you guys, for listening to what we've been saying for the last couple weeks and months. So thank you.
Amen.
All right, then. Let's vote.
Mayor, would you lock in your vote?
I was locked in.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thanks, everybody. So I'm guessing Sam's going to do the next report, which is on item number 11. Just happens to fall under new business, which is a resolution proclaiming an emergency, authorizing the maintenance of existing defensible space areas in the San Diego River corridor, and finding such action is exempt from review under the California Environmental Quality Act, also known as CEQA, and pursuant to CEQA guidelines, section 15269.C. City manager? No, this is going to be Sam.
Motion to approve stack recommendation as long as Sam wears that shirt.
I was going to say second because of the shirt. Just because of the shirt, I'll second that.
Slips.
One speaker, Mayor.
Thank you. Let's hear the speaker.
Carl Constantino.
See what you have to ask for, Carl, and then maybe we need to have that report.
Sorry,
Thank you.
I'd also like to real quick say that it's painful, but I went through that budget thing and I thought it was really well done too. So on this one is about the fire prevention, brush management along the riverbed. I'm seeing it as west of Carlton Hills and Mass Park, north and east of the drive-in, and various areas in between for a total of 10 specific areas. I think that's great. But it seems like every week or so there's a fire in the riverbed at Mission Gorge and 125. And I don't see anything in there.
We don't own it.
We don't own the
Yeah.
land. It's the city of San Diego.
Yeah,
Not quite.
No, it is.
Answer.
Now, your own map shows that City of Santee for about 1/10 of a mile beyond the 125 and then north and south of the riverbed. That's actually on your own map, which I downloaded and took a look at.
Well, we'll have to take a look at that. 'Cause
Chief?
we just
You want to
don't.
address that?
Areas where the fires are is Caltrans in the city of San Diego.
Yeah, I mean,
There we go. No, I'm on. I think the areas that are within the city jurisdiction is Caltrans right-of-way, and so that's a complicating factor there as well that we're working with Caltrans on some of that area.
Yeah, but don't misunderstand us. We are thinking the same way you are. That should be ours. We should be able to get through it. Unfortunately, they won't allow us to.
It's extremely frustrating.
I agree. I'm just saying that's for your own map.
I get that.
That's city
Just
land.
Jurisdiction is the problem.
Caltrans.
Okay, so
So
what do
update
we
the
do,
map.
just continue to fight fires all
If there's
the time there?
if there's a problem with the map, we can update that. And to your point about the map, my comment, when I spoke with with Gary, with our interim city manager, I think we got confused about what maps I was talking about. So I think the map provided in the staff report should have, what does the yellow line mean? What does the red line mean? We should have a legend And also, you see gaps, so there should be, the legend should also include county land, Caltrans land, like just have a legend and then use the different colors so we know, so everybody knows. This is ours, and this is what we're going to work on. This is Caltrans, this is county. As you'll notice, there's big empty spots too behind, like Las Colinas, that's not our land.
Well,
So,
right, yeah.
things
I
like that.
understand that. I'm just saying, so we just
Pretty much.
suck it up and fight fires all the time instead of actually doing something to prevent them.
We have worked and met with Caltrans specifically regarding right-of-ways that they have in the city and working to clear them of both encampments and brush management. So we have been meeting and engaging in dialogue with them, and the 125 area specifically is one we're targeting.
It just doesn't fall under this program. And then also to your point, though, there should be some also points on the map that show there's actually habitat out there that we are prohibited from removing or doing anything with. So that should probably be maybe drawn on the map too.
That's good, but then again, the next time there's a fire, why don't you just let it burn?
Mayor,
That problem goes away.
Mayor, if I may, I mentioned this last time, but I mean, we're working as a team at the staff level to try to bring these different, because there should be a more comprehensive approach than there currently is. I mean, the city staff has worked really hard over many years to get to the point where we can actually now develop a comprehensive approach. So this has been a work in progress for a long time, but because of the FEMA grant, because of the sub-area plan, there are things that are coming together that should put us in a position soon to bring something to you that links all of these things together.
Okay.
And that's a goal that we're working on at the staff level.
Okay, great, thanks. Does that answer your question then?
It answers it. It
It's
doesn't
not the best-
satisfy it, but yes, it does answer
doesn't satisfy
it.
any of us, really, but
Okay.
it answers the question. So thanks. Good job, Sam. Laura, did you have something else? Okay. All right, let's go ahead and vote on that then, because there was a motion and a second. Come on.
Motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you. That takes us to item number 12, a resolution awarding the construction contract to T&M Electric, Inc., DBA Perry Electric for the traffic signal and communications upgrade project and the isolated locations. Interesting title. And who's going to do that? Carl?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council. As mentioned, this item before you tonight is for the award of a construction contract for the traffic signal communications upgrade. And why we call it isolated locations, it's not citywide. There's very specific locations we're targeting, and I'll explain them as we move forward. So in general, what this is going to do is going to do a bunch of different things as part of the program. It's going to be replacing and upgrading 10 different signal locations, and I'll show those in a minute. And what it includes is traffic signal cabinets and controllers, interconnect communication, battery backups, upgrading vehicle detection systems, and upgrading pedestrian push buttons, upgrading pedestrian ramps. And it's estimated to begin construction in fall and take 3 months if council awards it. And the reason why this is necessary is these controllers have been outdated for decades. Staff has been replacing them as needed. They're no longer repairable, and this is going to create more reliability, more functionality, and make some of these locations safer with some of the detection. It's not necessarily going to make things more efficient, but it's going to increase the safety and reliability, because if one of these were to be knocked down, we have no replacements for them because these parts are so outdated and old. So that's the reason why we're bringing them back, and we're doing it as economy of scale. What we used to do in the past is we were trying to do them one at a time as they were failing, and we're just out of parts. We can't keep repairing the old ones. That's why we're bringing it to you tonight as one project at 10 locations. Here's all the locations, and again, these are over 2 decades old Oaks as well. So they're scattered throughout the cities. These are the lesser volume streets. We've already done significant repairs on Magnolia and Mission Gorge and Cuyamaca. About the bid, the city clerk received 9 bids, and they were received on June 10th. The lowest responsive and responsible bid was submitted by T&M Electric, DBA Perry Electric, in the amount of $931,200. Good news again is that was 19% lower than the engineer's estimate. I think we are trying to take into account some of the tariffs and things moving forward. We're really unsure about pricing for metal and equipment. Luckily, we were able to get it out to bid, and some of those tariffs hadn't hit. We're getting pretty favorable prices. Here's kind of a breakdown. We're about in the middle out of the 9 bids, so pretty competitive. And with that, staff is recommending we award the construction contract to T&M Electric, DBA Perry Electric, in the amount of $931,200, authorizing the city manager to execute all the contracts and documents, authorizing the director of engineering to approve change orders in the amount of $993,120, or 10% of the contract for unforeseen items, and then determining the action is category exempt from CEQA. And with that, myself and our traffic engineer, Minji May, are here if you have any specific questions.
Great, thanks. Hey, Carl, do you have any questions? Come on up.
He does have it. He does have a speaker slip in.
But I can't improve on what Carl said, so. I have just one request. I know this is one contract for all 10. Obviously, they're not going to do all 10 on the same day. Can we please make David Ann and northbound 67 be the first one?
We'll do what we can. We don't usually dictate the timing, but we'll certainly ask them if they can focus there first.
Okay, that is a real bad intersection that then creates a bad intersection at southbound 67 in Woodside. So,
I would say it's all perspective on where you live, because I live where that Carlton Hills and Willow Grove is, and I hate that one. So
yeah, no, I know.
I'll fight you for it.
I know. Yeah, but I came here and talked, so I should have priority points.
You know what? You're starting to sound like a politician.
I don't like insults.
Yeah, I figured that one. But thanks. Council, do you have any more comments or questions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Let's vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
That's too much fun. Have any non-agenda public comment?
No, sir.
Thank you. And city council reports, anything, Laura?
I got voluntold to be on another committee by showing up to the Air Pollution Control Board, which meets every other month. They said they have a planning group that meets the months that you don't meet, and they've just put 3 of us on as the new people. So I'll let you know about that.
Well, appreciate that.
Yeah.
You should read that book, How to Get to Know. The answer is no. I don't have anything. I've got some meetings coming up next month, but that's about it. Doesn't?
Just want to remind the public, they'll do that for concerts tomorrow night, and our Independence Day celebration, Santee Salutes, next Friday, July 4th. So come out to the park, Town Center Park East, and enjoy with your neighbors and friends.
Yep. Vice Mayor?
Nothing for me, sir.
City Manager?
Thank you. If Captain Hernandez doesn't mind being put on the spot, there was some traffic enforcement done today. I think people in town need to slow down a little bit. Maybe if he could say a few words about it.
Absolutely, sir. So this morning we had the motor strike team visiting. So what that is a combination of motor officers from throughout the county, and they travel from city to city. So today was our turn. They were here for half the day, and they wrote a total of 82 citations. 62 of them were for speeding. The highest speed was for 92 miles an hour, which is outrageous, on Mission Gorge near Father Junipero Serra.
Yeah.
Coming into the city.
Down the hill.
And another one for 75 miles an hour by Mary's Donuts on Carlton Hills.
Nice.
You hear that, Carl?
By that light.
And the rest of the citations were red light violations, cell phone use, obeying traffic signals, equipment violations, following too close, unlicensed drivers, and insurance. And so it was pretty fruitful.
Can you clarify that? Did you write them citations for obeying traffic signals or not obeying traffic signals?
For disobeying traffic signals.
Thank
yes.
you. I just want to make sure. Wow, that's all.
Well, this is what, I mean, the community has told us. We all know it. And this is not that, the habitual red light runners in certain intersections and the speeding. And ultimately, they're not following the traffic laws. And so, our sheriff's department and the city is aware of it, and we're making actions to tell people to follow the traffic laws.
So, question though, do you ever work with, is CHP on part of that squad?
Honestly, sir, I don't know how many agencies participated, but I can find out for you if you'd like.
The reason why I say that is love to get CHP involved so they can sit on, like the freeway exits from 52. Because I'll tell you what, especially there at Cuyamaca, they could be writing them all day long. I mean, they don't even stop. They just keep going around the corner.
Just to be clear for the public's captain, that was a half a day, which was 6 a.m. to 12 noon, correct?
Correct, sir.
Yeah, so a 6-hour period, not necessarily half a day, right? So I just want to clarify, that was in a 6-hour period, 82 citations.
Correct, sir.
Well, I appreciate you being out there. And pass that along to their commander.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. Did you work with them out there too, Tom? Okay. The answer was no. All right, then. I kind of lost my place. Oh.
No report.
No report. Thank you. All right, then. Let's go to closed session. That's item number 13, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation. And item number 14, threat to public services or facility. Thank you. And anybody's brave enough to sit around and wait for us to get done talking in the back room, you're more than welcome to stay. If not, thank you for coming out tonight.
Now.